Hello and welcome to ARTwaves. This is a show hosted by Studio 1623 here in Gloucester, Massachusetts, but we are sharing it with the world via social media. During the show, we're actually interviewing artists in the region about their work, their inspiration, particularly how they have navigated the current time that we are all facing, and looking forward to next. And each artist is totally unique in the way they're approaching this time. And today, our artist is a visual artist, a painter, Leslie Heffron. So welcome, Leslie.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie, for inviting me to be on the show. I'm really, really happy to be here.
How are things in Rockport?
Perfect, wonderful.
That's great. Great. So I've known Leslie for a while, and I've known her in both the artistic world. Also, Leslie is a healthcare worker herself. She's been a nurse for many years. I'd love to find out from Leslie her perspective on what's happening now, and in particular how this has, a little bit about her artistic background, and sort of how she came to where she is right now in her artistic life.
Well, I'm going to go way back in ancient history to the previous century. I think I started my art career in first grade when I had a little box of crayons in it was a little metal Band-Aid box, and I kept them with me in my desk, and I looked at them all the time. And I knew I loved to draw back then, and when the classroom teacher told me it was time for art class, I got so excited. So that was the very beginning of my art journey. And later on in elementary school, I had a wonderful art teacher named Mr. Jack Eagle, who introduced me to the work of Picasso and Van Gogh. And in fifth grade, I won a poster contest for the International Humane Society. And that really set me on my path to knowing that I wanted to pursue art. So I went to nursing school, actually. I went to Boston College for 4 years, graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And the last semester I was at BC, I took a fantastic art class on American art history by a woman from the Museum of Fine Arts. And she introduced us to the School of the Museum of Fine Arts. And I thought, oh, I think I have to go here. I'm graduating from nursing school, but I think I have to go back to art school now. So what I did was worked as a nurse. In the evenings, I worked for nursing agencies and went to the different hospitals all around Boston. And during the day, I went to the School of the Museum of Fine Arts and got a diploma in studio art. So then after that, while I was at the museum school, I lived with a wonderful folk artist, Eleanor Meadowcroft, who lives in Salem. And she and I, this is going way back to 1980, she and I were commissioned by the Smithsonian Institute and the Museum of American Folk Art in New York to join with other folk artists to do ornaments for the White House Christmas tree. This is back when Ronald Reagan was in office, yeah. Oh. So that was a real highlight for me, and that just kept me going. And all the while, I've been working as a nurse all the while. So then when I was in my mid-50s, working as a school nurse, our school provided funds for people working in the school district to go back to school. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this and get my teaching degree and my master's degree in art education. So I went to school for 6 years, full in the evenings at Kutztown University, and got those degrees. So that's about the end of that journey.
I want you to fast forward, though, of how you because I didn't actually officially say I was going to ask you this question, but now it occurs to me, your most recent job in Boston, you combined the best of both worlds.
I really did. I had a fantastic, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're nursing in your art. So please
Right.
tell, that was so fascinating to me. So you may want to.
That was a dream job. So I worked as a school nurse. I've been a nurse for 43 years. 18 of those years I worked as a school nurse, and then I had a chance to move back up here to Cape Ann and work for MGH Revere Healthcare Center. And there I was an immunization nurse up on the pediatric department. And also that was like a little part-time job. Then my main job there was to manage the MGH Revere Youth Zone, which was a free after-school program for children, urban children, ages 9 through 17 in Revere. And so I pretty much could do, I mean, my boss gave me the directives, but I was pretty, I was able to do a lot of things with the kids related to art. So I actually combined a lot of health lessons with art lessons. That was a real challenge. It was a lot of fun. And it was a dream job. It really was. I did that for 5 years and just actually retired in November.
Fantastic.
Sadly, I really miss the kids. I met kids from all over the world, wonderful children from all over the world.
You care deeply about them, I know that. But we have to go back to Leslie now. This is a great time for you. So let's talk about specifically your painting, the styles of painting, from where you draw your inspiration, and how do you distinguish your work? Because that's always the big challenge.
I think I would like to share with the viewers one of my most recent paintings, which is called Buoys, Line, and Flags. And that is a large, well, 2 feet by 3 foot acrylic on a wood panel, which the inspiration from that was the buoys, the lines, and the flags that are lying around the harbor down in Pigeon Cove. I live in Pigeon Cove. I live right by the harbor. And so I take daily walks down there with my camera, and the color down there is spectacular. The light down there is spectacular. That's a huge source of inspiration for my current work. And so I go down there with my camera and take photos, then come back to my studio, do sketches, and then do the final painting. So.
And how would you describe your work in terms of the way you would, like, what would be one word to say, this is how I would distinguish my work?
I'm a large scale colorist, I would say. Okay. I really love color, and I like working on a large scale.
And your work is fun. I can see some of it behind you. Really fun, and it's upbeat, you know, so very exciting. Now let's talk about this very time right now, a big pause for the world. How has this either, you know, changed, or what has it done to you as an artist?
Actually, I've responded to the COVID crisis with my artwork. And I'd like to share with the viewers another recent painting I did to honor the hardworking lobstermen down at Pigeon Cove. It's called Essential Pigeon Cove, and it's an acrylic on masonite. It's 18 by 24 inches, and it's based on these gloves that I've had in my possession for several years. I knew I wanted to do a painting with these. So I did a painting, you'll see it on the screen, of patriotic colors, and I used little white starfish to surround the gloves and the heart instead of stars that you'd see on American flag. But I really wanted to honor the guys that are working down in the cove, because they are been working tirelessly. Nobody's sitting around down there. They're working, working, working.
Right.
On the waterfront, on the water, and it goes on like pre-dawn through dusk. People don't realize, but because I'm living here, I see it all, and it amazes me.
Bring it out in your work. That's wonderful. So you're celebrating the people that are working and keeping us going, which is a wonderful way to respond to the challenging time that we're in. So,
and I just wanted to say the other piece I did related to the lobstermen again is a 3-minute film, which I believe will be shown on the 1623 Studios Facebook page, called Pigeon Cove, Heaven on Earth. And again, that's, you know, it's a tribute to the lobstermen and all their hard work to keep food on our tables.
You're a generous soul, Leslie. You're always thinking of the other people. I think it's the nurse in you coming out. Let's move on to process. Process, so important to the artist, of course, but I find in these interviews, it's the viewers just eat that up because it's sort of the heart and soul. So talk to me a little bit about your process, and also how you iterate, whether you put things aside, whether you try to finish them in a certain period of time, just, you know, how you approach a piece of art.
Well, the piece that you can see behind me is a big acrylic. It's 3 feet wide by 6 feet high, and it's one iteration of a common theme that I've been pursuing for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years. I keep going back to this theme, this lifeguard chair. I love the beach. You know, I love the expanse of the water, the sand, the sky. I love that structure of the chair and the vibrancy of the color against the blue background of the ocean. So that's what I'm doing with the piece that you can see behind me. And the other piece I wanted to share with the viewers is a colored pencil drawing called Willow Rest. And that is a 25 by 36 inch piece that I started after COVID, you know, since I've been working again in my studio. And it's based on just a really wonderful place. I'm sure you've been there, Jackie. It's like one of my favorite places. I paint what I like.
Okay, that's the process that we're looking for. I want to hear more about the process and what, tell me.
What I do is with that, I took a picture back last year, and I was really drawn to those turquoise umbrellas that are in the front of the building, and there's a row of flowers. So that was really what drew me to that image. And like I said, I love Willow Rest, so I think I had to paint this.
Yes.
And so I took a picture, brought it back to the studio, and just worked on it. I start light when I do my colored pencil drawings. In with my paintings, I start light and I just go progressively darker until I get to where I want to be. And at some point, you have to kind of step away and say, okay, this is finished, or I'll just put it aside for now and look at it later. And so that's how I work.
Okay.
I don't always finish everything. It usually takes me 2 or 3 weeks to finish something. I try to set a limit. I don't want it to go on and on forever and overwork it. But I have a painting behind me. You can't see it. It's a big painting of peaches in a bowl, beautiful blue bowl. And that's almost done, but not quite. So I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about how I'm going to finish that off. Okay,
good. But you do set deadlines for yourself, which is good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Some people, set them aside for a year. So everybody approaches things a little bit differently. Have there been any particular problems you've had to solve as an artist? Anything that comes to mind, big, challenge along the way?
Recently, maybe because of COVID, or?
No. Just like working on something, not getting it right, technically.
Well, usually there's always a point. It's sort of like a puzzle to me. A paint is like a puzzle, and I have to figure it out. I have to figure out, like, okay, I love this color, but how does this color look good next to another color? Like, what's one color going to do when it interacts? How's it going to interact with the next color on the painting. So that's a challenge. And sometimes I get to a point where I think, okay, this is not working out, so I'm just going to have to step away and look at it again later. It's
Right.
you know,
Right.
I don't ever abandon anything totally. I try to finish everything in some way. I might not love what I do, but
Yeah.
I try to get it
Somebody
finished.
else might. You never know. That's how it is with my jewelry. I totally.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you just have to step away from it after a while. You say, okay, that's what I think that's good enough.
Yep. All right. This is going to be my last question, but it's a big one. We have like a minute left. I actually want to make sure we talk about what's next, because we won't be in this time of our lives forever. So what are you thinking about? What, like, as you kind of come out of this, whether it's the end of the year or whenever we kind of go through this transformation, what do you look forward to as an artist?
I'm looking forward to showing my work. I did have a show scheduled for December 2019 at the Mates Gallery at the Sawyer Free Library. I think it'll be pushed back because of the situation.
You mean, and you said December of 2019. Did you mean December?
I'm sorry, 2020. Yeah, 2020.
We're just forgetting about 2020.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm also looking forward to reaching a larger audience online, since we're really not able to show our work. Since people aren't going out to galleries and seeing work anymore, we have to reach an audience through the internet. And I'm looking forward to doing that.
Do you hear that little music? That is my timer. I apologize. If only I knew how to turn it off. There we go. Anyway, I think we're all looking forward to the opportunity to see art, and we're all looking forward to the opportunity to share art with each other. And right now, this is how we're going to do it online. And I wish you the best. And to the audience, we're going to be showing this on Channel 12. Look for all the information at 1623 Studios website. Look for their Facebook page. Look for this on YouTube, and check out all of Leslie's website and Facebook page and the wonderful video she just produced. Thank you for your time, Leslie.
Oh, thank you so much, Jackie. I really loved being here.